What's going on, guys and girls? Tomislav here again. Haven't talked to you in a while, and today I'm here because I'm recording the tutorial you guys wanted. I've made a survey on Twitter. I asked you guys what do you want to see first, low poly or Minecraft, and yeah, it seems like we're doing Minecraft today. And you may realize I'm using Manga Studios. In the first two tutorials I made, I used Photoshop. And before I start, I want to just tell you guys it's basically the same principle. I just like Manga Studios more because I get smoother lines in it. It's basically the same as Photoshop for me, but it focuses on drawing and not on the visual effects and stuff. So let's get started. Okay, yes, the last time I used Dinabone as or I drew Dinabone, let's tell it like this. And this time I think I'm gonna use Notch because he has a straightforward skin, very easy to draw. And you can draw along with me. I may have some time-lapse in it, but I'm gonna explain all things to you. Okay, first step you wanna do is make a basic sketch of it. So I usually take any color but not black. Yeah, let's take purple or something. Make a layer above the normal layer. In Photoshop it's gonna be called background. Here it's paper, make a layer above it and start drawing your basic sketch. I will most probably, or I will make a time-lapse of this because this takes me the most. Because I want a pose that will catch your eye, that's interesting and not just a stiff character. So that's one thing I changed over the time, that my characters don't look stiff anymore. They look much more, they are just in action, they look more interesting. And I'm gonna do this in time-lapse because that's not something I can explain you. It's more something you gotta get used to it, you gotta practice it on your own. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I finally came up with a sketch. You saw that I made various versions, but because this is a tutorial I decided to do something more easy to draw. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. And yeah, next thing I do, this layer where the sketch is, the sketch layer, I will turn down the opacity to maybe 20, but you can leave it or whatever. Just you have to find a spot where you can barely see it and it's easier for you to draw, because I don't want distracting lines. I just want it barely visible to know where I want the lines to have later on. So yeah, I usually start off with the head. And one thing I really like in Manga Studios is that I can make straight lines more easy than in Photoshop. Oh. Yep. I might be very quiet because I don't usually don't talk very much while I draw. I'm just listening to music or something. Yeah, Notch has this beard. I will blend it in for you guys here about somewhere. So you can see the skin. And he actually doesn't have any eyebrows on his skin, but I want him to look, I don't know how, in this heroic pose. And one thing I could have done is show him from below. If the viewer sees a thing from below, it looks more heroic. I don't know how to tell. It's just a thing. Our brain sees us. You basically see this person on top or higher above, and you associate it with other things, and so it gets this heroic thing to it. But it's just a tip. I forgot to do it. And basically what I wanted to tell about the eyebrows is that you can add things if it helps the image, so that if it will look better, but not delete anything that will destroy the image, because you want to see what it is afterwards, and the person who gets this artwork should know that it's his skin. So I very often draw in mouths, even though they are not in the skin or not included, just to get a more, let's concentrate it, just to get it a more emotion in it. That's what I want to say. That's how my mouth look. So by now I have the head. I will make a quick time lapse and I will be back while drawing the cape. See you in a bit again. So I'm back, guys, again. I made the body and I forgot a line here. It may be a bit out of proportion because his arms are way too long in my opinion. So if this would be a image for somebody of you, I would have changed that, but I have limited time today. I basically always have limited time, but this, you get the idea of it, so let's go on to the cape. So I don't know if you guys know it, but the Mojang crew has own capes which nobody has, and basically you get capes if you went to Minecons. Every Minecon has a different cape, and Notch, Jab, and I don't know if Dinabone has one, but they all have these brown capes with the company's logo on it. Yeah, this drawing these materials like capes, like cloth in general drawing, you don't have these sharp edges, you just have this flow to it, so you have to watch out that it looks like cloth. If you look at his t-shirt here, or his shirt, I made these folds in it so it looks more realistic, and adding shadow to this later on, then it will look much more interesting. And one thing I just realized is I want to show you in the end. I basically make a banner out of this in Photoshop, and I will show you how I make this medley looking text, because I'll have people asking me. So that's one thing I will add at the end. But for now, let's make another layer below the sketch layer. I deleted the sketch layer and this line work area. I can name it line work, because I will later on give this, or maybe maybe I shouldn't delete this layer then. Sketch, line work, and above the sketch layer and below the line work layer, the color layer. Later on I will give you this PSD file. And I think I already told you, but this is possible in every program which has layers. So you don't have to use Manga Studios like I am. You can use Photoshop as well, or Paint.net, or I think it's possible in every single program. Yeah, one thing, if you saw the image, or I don't know, the image of the skin, you may have seen that Notch has a red or reddish pinkish skin color on his skin. So I made a gradient from a lighter, so from the base color I want to have to a little darker color, not much darker, and all I do, I'm on the color layer and I mark an area. This would be the polygon tool in Photoshop. And here it's called polyline selection. So basically I'm on the line work, I'm on the color layer, not on the line work area. So people have been asking how I make it to not cross the lines while drawing. And it's all a matter of layers. Without layers it would just be like Paint, the normal MS Paint I mean, because Paint.net is actually pretty good. Like I've seen some pictures with it and it's not that bad. And it runs, I think, much faster than Photoshop does. And that's, by the way, also I think a reason why I use Manga Studios is that it uses much less RAM. And you can work faster with it. And yeah. Basically, if you have always used Photoshop, it just takes you maybe an hour or two to you will basically never want to go back to Photoshop for drawing again. That's just how I felt about it, and I've asked some bigger artists than me and much more advanced, and they're more experienced than me, and they also used Photoshop in the past, and they were suggesting me to not use it anymore if I want this. If I basically want to be happy with my line works more often and such. Yeah, you see, I have the skin done, and you can cross. I mean, it's a three-dimensional object you have to think. So these things like this line here, I mean, it should go like this, but I like to leave it to imagination. So let the viewer of the picture imagine the line and just begin the drawing but not finish it. So the viewer gets it anyways, and it looks much better, I think, in my opinion, at least it is like this. And one thing I also never do is I never use black. Never. I only use it in in the line work, but I never ever use this real black. I mean, I'm never at the at the top, at the bottom of this scale. I don't know why, but I hate black for drawing. I mean, I want the lines to be visible. Oh, maybe you have a different style and it works for you, but for my style and my pictures it doesn't work. And this is not the best way to do it. I mean, if you want to get good at it, you have to figure out a way which works for you the best. I mean, for me, I have tried a lot of things in the past, and for now this is the best one I found, and I'm showing it to you, so you know how I work, but you don't have to work like this. I've seen, for example, the low polygon thing I do. I've seen people, I mean afterwards I found about it, the first thing I did is go ahead and try it on my own. I came up with a result, a pretty good result actually, and I saw people doing it a bit different and I adapted my style to it, and yeah, and I asked people about it and they gave me more ideas, and so you have to get feedback. Feedback is the most important thing for artists. If you don't get any feedback, you never will evolve in this, I mean evolve in an artistic way, so your skills will never get better. Yep. And I will go into time-lapse again, I think, and I will color everything and I will explain afterwards what I've done. So I'm back again, I finished it, and one thing, basically everything you see is been done in the style I showed you with the head and the parts of the shirt. But the shoes I've just taken a plain color and colored it in. Just the grey, not just actually black shoes, but I have made them dark grey because I don't use black. And in my opinion it looks better because I can shade black. Black is a color that can be shaded on you because it's actually black and it's not working. So now I want to show you two styles I use for shading. One style is called cell shading. It's basically taking black, putting the layer, set it on 30 or 40. I basically always use 40 or 60. It depends on how I want to have it. And let's take it everywhere I can show, because I want to I want to do the other style, but I just want to show you this. I mean, here I will have it like this, and basically just coloring shadows in. And you can make some in the beard. It's not that well visible, I think on YouTube it won't be visible at all. So that's why I said you can make it 62 or 60 and then 2 with two O's. Just make it on 60, guys. I'm a bit derpy talking English. I'm so sorry for my derpy English, but I'm actually never talking English at all. All I do is write comments in English. So this is it, the first style, and I will delete this and show you the other style. It's basically choosing darker color of the gradient, I have a wheel in here, but in Photoshop you don't have this. That's also I think a reason why I have, or why I use this Manga Studio program. And basically all I do is go a bit darker and go counterclockwise. Yeah, just a bit darker. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So now I do the same thing in Photoshop. You can, or I could use it too here, but here it's called the airbrush tool. Yeah, airbrush. In Photoshop you have these brushes with zero opacity. You could use them, but I actually prefer to make the cell shading look with that's why it looked so fun. Let me change it real quick, I'll be right back. So I'm back, I just changed the color. And you could use the smudge tool on Photoshop or in Photoshop. And here I have this brush. I draw with the pen tool, and I use this brush tool as the smudge tool because this Manga Studios uses less RAM, so I can go more wild on it without worrying about that it will crash down or anything if you have not that much of a good PC. So these are the settings I use. So amount of paint 0, density of paint 0, color strength 26, hardness 6, brush density 50, stylizing 2. And all I do is yo guys, I'm back. I got a phone call and I basically had to quit the tutorial, and now it's 2 days later. And so I'm already telling you I'm sorry that I might repeat some stuff I already told you. I'm just gonna continue at that point where I was. Skype messages coming in. By the way, you can add me on Skype. I will reply, or we can chat there a bit. I'm on there quite often. So yeah. If you want some tips about drawing or something, or send me your artwork so I can give you tips what I would change or how to approach something, or if you want to start a channel or something, you can hit me up there and I will be glad to help you. I think I basically already told you what to do at this point, but just to be on the safe side, all I do is color in the area where I want to shade it, then with the brush tool smudge it a bit. And in Photoshop it's called the smudge tool, but I like Manga Studios more. I think I already said it quite a bit. By the way, I just woke up. For me it's like 10 AM. Yeah. I think you get it. If you don't get it, I can explain you the things on Skype. And I will fast forward a bit or make a time lapse out of it, and you will see it, and I will be back. Okay guys, I'm back. as you can see, the shadings are done. Not quite all the shadings, because I just realized I forgot to shade the beard, which also might be a problem because it's too dark. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that, just a little bit. And all I did is make a new layer, make a clipping mask out of it. I don't know if I mentioned it in Manga Studios. You see this icon, clip at layer below. Then you get this red line on the left side of the layer. And basically all it does is that the layer it's clipped to, you can draw out of it. So it's very helpful for coloring, shading. And in Photoshop you would do it, there's no button for it, at least I don't know for. Maybe it's if you make a right click somewhere, but if you make a new layer above the colored layer in Photoshop, you basically press Alt and click in the line between the two layers. I will blend the image in so you see what I mean. Yep. And yeah, now basically what I did is made a new layer for the highlights, lightning effects and whatever. And yeah, basically I used to just take white, overlay the blend mode on overlay, and by the way, blend modes are one of the most amazing things in Photoshop, or Manga Studio supports them too. And I actually use it very often, but I hate to use it for the skin because it's basically almost white. And I don't want no white, I just want a color, not white. And I will start with the white on everything else. Yeah, the beard is too dark. You can see barely anything. Yep. Now smudge it again. This one here. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, guys, I've seen the suggestions for the t-shirt designs, because last time I recorded the video wasn't up yet. I don't think so, or was it? No, I don't think so. Yeah, but there are some really some great suggestions with them. One got deleted because of copyright issues and something. I don't know if I can get it back or make it usable in some way, because it's, I don't know, because there was one thing, a creeper who is copyrighted, like it seems like it's copyrighted, and I think it was the creeper, so I'm pretty sure about it. And he was the main focus of the image, and if I would change it, I would have to hide the creeper or delete it, and I don't want no basic image, I want the creeper in it. I will show you the image in the thing, how it's called, in the video I will make about it. By the way, I'm just making a new layer, clip it, and now for the skin, just take the brightest color and go a bit up, and that's it. suggestions were great. For me, it is really hard to choose the best out of them. I showed him to my friend, to a friend of mine, and he also he also thought that it's really hard to choose a winner over there. But basically I make the images. But you guys inspired me. You said, well, I changed them up a little bit. Because there was one saying Steve on a cliff. And I basically changed it up a little bit because I only wanted you to inspire me to get my own idea, and you will get the avatar, because without the idea I wouldn't have the inspiration for it. So basically I'm going to draw them all, make a video about it, and and you will have to choose the winner and he will get the avatar. But I've marked everybody down who suggested something, and you can't suggest your own thing, or you can't vote for yourself. Just to be fair, because nobody would vote for anybody else. Everybody would say mine is the best. Yeah. Now I'll do something I almost never do, but I'll take the airbrush tool, or in Photoshop you just take a brush with 0 hardness, make it quite big. And where is it here? I don't know if they have here opacity for brushes, but I don't care. Opacity of the layer about 40. 60? Yeah, 60 is good. And just a bit on the edges. Like there where you already got some shades in. A bit with black. Just a little bit. And what has it done? Yeah, it's not a big difference, but it is actually quite big. Now I'm gonna jump to Photoshop and show you a few tricks there, because I don't like to use Manga Studios for it, so I'll see you in a bit. Well guys, guess who just got a phone call again? That's why I usually don't record tutorials and such very often. But yeah, all I did, I made a group for the character, and I'm gonna make a new file, filming video, make it 920 and 1080. The resolution should be over 300 if you think you will print it afterwards, because printers are made like this. I don't want to go into the technical stuff very much, but 300 is perfect for printing, or at least it shouldn't be below. And I'm gonna drag this notch over there. Yeah. Now I'm going to make a shadow below him. Yeah. I'll take the gradient tool, make a circular, or what is it called, radial gradient, and make it transparent on one side and black on the other. Drag it up on a new layer, by the way. Shadow, and drag it with Alt pressed below one leg. Control J for duplicating the layer. Below the other leg. Merge the layers together. And above. Nah. leave it at 100 opacity. And now you have a notch standing there. And I'm dragging in my nice effect thing. It's called nice effect because I don't know what the name for it actually is. And I'm going to put the layer on overlay. This effect, you can download the effect in my 900 subscriber special video. In case you're wondering, or you are new, I get quite a few new subscribers lately, so it's quite a high chance that you are new to the channel and you don't know how I work and such. And if you are new, thanks for subscribing. And what I did now is I just took the selection tool, the rectangular selection tool, or marquee tool, how it's called, and took a brush with 0 hardness, a quite big brush, and I went around the edges a little bit. Not in, also I was not drawing in the selection, I was drawing outside, so it went in just a little bit, just enough to get these shaded lines, or the shaded corner thing. It's corner effect, just call it like that. For me, it's corner effect. It looks like he stands in a room now, even though he doesn't. All we have is black line. And because of the effect, it gets a bit of color, so it actually that effect looks much better than it looked before. Yeah, you basically now know how I make the character, and everything you see in my banners is basically drawn like this. There's no exception to anything. If I draw a tree, I'll draw the tree exactly like this. If I draw a house, I'll draw it exactly like this. And I said I would make you, or show you how I make these metal looking texts. And why is this? Is it a font maybe? Well, I don't know what's not fat. By the way, this Fox bold thing, these bold texts, sometimes the font creator hasn't even made a bold version of this font, so Photoshop will just make a border around it, and we have this great looking, how would you call it, this with these nice edges and things, this text. And if I would make it fat now, Photoshop would make it rounded, because it just puts a border around it. So you have to look if there is a regular, if this is on regular or bold, if it even has in bold, because right here above, I hope I turn the mouse on. Yes, I'm very now. So besides the font, it says regular and it's not clickable. This means there is no regular, no italic or anything to add to it. It's just this font. But right now I don't need it. I just wanted to tell you this. Actually, for this metal looking thing, or look, it's better to have a fat, like fat letters. I would call it like this, because here they are quite thin, here they are fat, and this is the Minecraft font, Minecraft 3 it's called. I don't know if I will link it below or something, if I remember, right? but you are able to look it up yourself. Just I'll write in Minecraft font and you'll find it quite easily. So one major cut or what influences the look of the text quite a bit is the gradient. So let's say I want a gold. Should I make a gold on this background? Yeah, let's make it gold and we can change the color afterwards. Gold is not orange, it's something more like this. Can copy this color code if you want the same color, or copy this CMYK code or any of these codes. You can write it all down, but this will work for you if you want the same. And let's make it like this. Again, that 7E, DAA, the 7E. And I often like to invert it so it's, because I will make the upper area of it shiny and the lower darker, and if I invert it like now, like make it minus 90 degrees, so it's inverted, not like this, just like this, it will look better. By the way, blending options are very great thing to work with if you know how to work with. Inner shadow. For you guys it might be a shadow, for me it's not a shadow, for me it's a shiny thing. I always use it for shining or for shine effects. Distance. Yeah, now it depends. If you want a like cut metal effect like this with these sharp edges, you can leave the size at 0 or turn it up to have this rounded effect, so it's more rounded. And you could use this thing, bevel and emboss. I might actually use it. Yeah, I want to show you something. You can either leave it on normal or on overlay. I will put it on overlay because this thing will make the white normal thing. And it's actually quite good. Yeah, I'll leave it like this. Not this. Yeah, just play around with this, but don't put a drop shadow or outer shadow or a stroke to it yet. Or stroke might work actually, but other things like shadows which have a gradient out of it, which fade out of this text, these are very bad for this, and I'll show you why. So now you basically have this gold notch, or it actually looks already like gold, but put this notch in a group because you can't, let me show, you can't make a clipping mask, and basically I just didn't, what is this? I just did this thing I explained earlier, or yesterday for me it was, for you was earlier. Press Alt between two lines and you will get this thing. And what it does, it makes a clipping mask, and the layer above can't draw. Oh, now you see it. Effects off. It can't draw out of this. But basically, because we have effects on it, it doesn't work. And my trick to it, basically we could rasterize the layer style and rasterize rasterize the layer style. But what I do is I make the text in a group, call the group text, make a layer above it, make it a clipping, and I am actually not sure if this works below CS6. It might not work. Yeah, you if it doesn't work, you'd have to rasterize the layer style. But I sometimes like to go back in there and change the colors afterwards. But it's not needed actually. Oh. Yeah. It might not work below CS6. And yeah, make this clipping layer above it. Then you could mark it with this rectangular thing, but for me it actually looks better if I have it slightly curved. This approximately of the half of it. And now what I do is always with 0 hardness on the outside, not in, on the outside. And maybe like from here a bit. And already looks cool. And now inverted the selection. You basically do this by select inverse or shift control I. I always use shortcuts. It's basically easier for me. I'm much faster. If you do this professional like I am doing it, like for work and such, you're much faster, and the clients will appreciate it if you're fast enough for them. So it looks already great for me, at least, but not great enough. So I will put it on overlay, so it gets an additional hue to it. It's a bit reddish because red and now black on these brownish yellow colors gets red on it if you put it on overlay. So you could make it to 60%, so it gets more brown and it looks more like gold. And what I do is I duplicate the layer, Ctrl J, or right click duplicate layer, or drag it to this make a new layer icon. You can do it how you want, but this is my way. And what I like to do is make this white, because if you put it on overlay, it just gets brighter, the gold gets brighter. But if you are putting another layer above it on normal, also 60%, maybe if I put it on screen, yeah, normal and 60% gets this gold effect. And what I do, and now I love to put these drop shadows and outer glows and such on it. And basically how you do that, you take these two layers where the shine effect on it, this gold shiny effect, the text layer, mark them all, group them again, also call it text, and blending options on this layer. Now everything in there will get this effect. Bit more distance on it. Put another glow to it. And all the glow, I actually never use it, I always use it for additional shadows, because I like to have shadows around it, like this. Yeah, and maybe drag it below, below the effect, nice effect thing. So you have the effect on the text. Yeah, so if you have no drawing skills, you now at least know how to make this medley looking text on your thumbnails, banners, or whatever you like, and as said, I'll show you how to change the color afterwards. You go to adjustments. If you don't have this, you go on window, adjustments, and for hue and saturation, make a clipping layer like I showed you with Alt pressed between those two. If you don't do this, the effect will get applied to everything, and this looks bad. So make a clipping layer, and now you can play around with the text. Now if you want it blue, or red, orange, green, or if you just want it pop like orange maybe, or this type of gold, or make it black, white. Just play around with these. I'll make it a bit more saturated is the word, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah. Cut. Yeah, guys, I just took a look on one of my other banners I did recently, and this is one way to have this goldy looking text. Gold 1 I will call it. I'll put it above. I will duplicate this and I'll show you the other way I'll do it. I mostly do it. Take the effects off of it. Duplicate this text layer. Go a bit below. And this actually can look very bad if you have another text which has like, I'll show you right quick. Where is the layer? Probably. Let's make a new background. Yeah, it should be easy. The text is like this, and if you drag it below, I'll take a red. It will go like this, and it would not look like 3D, and I want a 3D look to it. So you know what I'm talking about. I hope at least you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'll convert smart object, and then rasterize it so I have a normal layer out of it. And now what I do is Control U, basically the same thing like this, but this one is not editable anymore. You could make an adjustment layer with hue and saturation, but I'm not bothered right now. And go down with the lightness. Why is it not called brightness? I think, yeah. And now, this is basically what the Minecraft logo looks like. Cut. So basically guys, this is already it with the tutorial. I hope you learned something, and my English is now pretty good, I think, to at least I'm at a level where I can explain stuff. I know in the last tutorial I pretty much sucked, at least for me. For me, I'm still sucking at English. I'm still I don't know, but I hope you learned something. I hope you liked it, and I will put this both, or no, actually I will put this PSD file with in the description, so you can download it and take a look at it, and I'll leave the text like it was, so you can take a look at this text fact. And yeah, this is pretty much all I wanted to say. One more thank you to everybody who suggested something. There was one guy who suggested like 5 or 6 times, and I liked most of his ideas, so he has pretty good chances to win. My birthday is on the 9th of October, so it's not very far anymore. I don't know when you will see it. Maybe it already was, but I don't think so. And one more thing I wanted to say is, before anybody suggests of you, please take a look on my channel first, because so many people are asking, can you do me a free banner, and I would like to do it, but the people actually don't read the PDF I have for it. It's a request PDF with all the terms and with all the requirements you have to fulfill first. Please take a look at this if you want a banner. To all people on Skype, I was pretty busy this week and I couldn't talk to everybody, and yeah, I wanted, those people who requested. YouTube keeps deleting PMs, private messages, and so many of them are in spam, and I have to fill them all out first and then go back and read them, and I haven't even know how much people I had. I thought, yeah, a few people have requested. Then I've seen the deleted ones and the ones that are in spam, and I think that's not okay. That YouTube just deletes private messages, and so many comments are getting into spam, and I'll approve all of them, but they're way too much. So if you want to chat with me or if you have any more ideas, write it in the comments. But on Skype I can have a more personal chat with you, so I can explain much more stuff. So add me on there, I will accept you. I just don't know when I'm going to have time to accept you, because at the moment I'm very busy. You see, I got like 2 phone calls in. Yeah, I'm very busy. Like, this is, I don't know how long this tutorial will be, but I had to split it up into 3 parts, because I'm always getting like phone calls, or I don't know. Yeah, so I'm glad you watched it. Thank you for your precious time. I'm really sorry if it was wasted time for you and you already know this stuff, but this is my way. So many people have asked me about it, and I finally got to show you guys. I plan on making a low poly tutorial also, but you know, not that much time. But it's actually a much shorter tutorial, so it might be a 10-minute tutorial, or at least 5 minutes, and I don't know if it will be much longer. So thank you for precious time. Again, I'm sorry if it was wasted, and if you are really happy with my videos and you think they are great, please leave a subscription. It helps me a lot and it's free. It doesn't help you actually a lot if you subscribe. It really helps much more if you leave a like, but it's your thing. I don't want to beg for likes or anything. I just want to show you that it helps me. And so many people have been donating at the last few weeks where I was busy, and I'm really thankful for this. but you don't have to. It just helps me buy new equipment with it. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.